2,000 years ago, in a dusty corner of the Roman Empire, a carpenter's son gathered -1 ordinary men and made them a promise that would outlive every empire on earth. Upon this rock, he said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. No one listening that day could have imagined what those words would become. Not a building, not a nation, a living body that would survive fire, sword, plague, schism, and 2,000 years of relentless history trying to erase it. It began in blood. After the crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth, his followers did not scatter into silence, they multiplied in secret. In the catacombs beneath Rome, in tunnels carved from soft volcanic rock, the first Christians buried their dead and whispered their prayers by candlelight, always listening for footsteps above. To follow this new faith was to risk everything. Emperor Nero blamed Christians for the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, and what followed was horror. Believers wrapped in animal skins and torn apart by dogs. Others set ablaze as human torches to light Nero's gardens at night. And yet the faith did not die. It grew stronger with every martyr, as though the blood itself were seed. For nearly 3 centuries, to whisper the name of Christ in public was to sign your own death warrant. St. Peter, the fisherman chosen as the first pope, was crucified upside down by his own request, for he did not consider himself worthy to die as his Lord had died. St. Paul, once a persecutor of Christians, was beheaded outside the walls of Rome. Generation after generation of bishops, virgins, soldiers, and children faced lions in the Colosseum, boiling oil, and the executioner's blade, and still, in the darkness, the church grew. Then came a moment that shocked the ancient world. In 312 AD, a Roman general named Constantine stood before a decisive battle and reportedly saw a blazing cross in the sky, with words that meant, in this sign, conquer. He won, and in an instant, the persecuted faith of slaves and outcasts became the faith of emperors. Christianity was legalized. Within decades, it would become the official religion of Rome itself. The catacombs emptied into cathedrals, but with power came new dangers, heresies, power struggles, and questions that would haunt the church for 1,000 years. Who was Christ? Truly, man, God? Both. Councils were convened, arguments turned violent, and the very meaning of the faith was forged in fire at Nicaea and Chalcedon. When Rome finally collapsed under barbarian invasions in 476 AD, chaos swallowed Europe. Yet in the ruins, something remarkable happened. The church did not fall with the empire. It became the empire's replacement, the one institution holding civilization together. Monks copied ancient manuscripts by candlelight in isolated monasteries, preserving knowledge that would otherwise have vanished forever into the Dark Ages.
Missionaries walked into the lands of pagan warlords, unarmed, risking death to plant the cross among peoples who worshipped thunder and blood. But the story of the church is not one of peace alone. It is also a story of shadows. In 1054, a single argument over authority and a few words in a creed tore Christianity in two, splitting east from west in what became known as the Great Schism, a wound that has never fully healed. Centuries later came the Crusades, armies marching under the banner of the cross toward Jerusalem, a chapter soaked in both devotion and bloodshed that still echoes through history today. And in Spain, the Inquisition rose like a shadow of fear itself, a tribunal that would judge, torture, and burn in the name of rooting out heresy, a haunting reminder that even the holiest institutions are made of fallible men. Then, in the 16th century, a monk named Martin Luther nailed 95 arguments to a church door in Germany, and the unified Christian world cracked apart forever. The Reformation swept across Europe like wildfire, and the Catholic Church, wounded and shaken, answered with the Council of Trent, reforming from within, rebuilding, refusing to disappear. Through the Renaissance, the Church became patron of the greatest art humanity has ever produced. Michelangelo's ceiling, Bernini's marble saints, cathedrals that seemed to touch heaven itself. And through the darkest centuries of war, revolution, and 2 world wars that shattered the modern world, the Church endured, battered, criticized, doubted, yet still standing, still whispering the same promise made 2,000 years ago on a dusty road outside Jerusalem. Today, over 1 billion souls across every continent still carry that promise forward. Empires have crumbled to dust. Ideologies have risen and burned to ash, but the gates of hell, as promised, have not prevailed. The rock remains,